Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB and we are back today with yet another success story. And today we have with us Miss Anudeep Nen, who has become an RBI Grade B officer this year. And a very interesting and different story today we have from Anudeep. So Anudeep has completed her PhD in mathematics and she has been pursuing her dream to become an RBI Grade B officer from last few years. This was her third attempt. So very consistently, she has been going on preparing and attempting for RBI, along with strengthening her skills by completing her education after master. She spent this time also enrolled in PhD and successfully completed that also. So thank you, Anudeep, for joining us today to share your story, and many congratulations for finally making it. And all your efforts over the last few years have paid off finally.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
So, Anudeep, if you can give a brief background about yourself, from where you come, what all you did, and what motivated you to prepare for RBI.
Sure, ma'am. So I am basically from Sonipat, Haryana, and I've done my schooling from Sonipat only. Thereafter, I joined Delhi University, Hansraj College to continue my education. There, I did mathematics honors from Hansraj College. After that, I gave exam to enter IITs, and through that, I got into IIT Bhubaneswar for my masters. And there, I was the gold medalist in MSc program.
Wow.
So and then I also cleared GATE exam and I also cleared the NET exam. After that, I started preparing for some competitive exams, and simultaneously, I also enrolled myself in the PhD program. So from the last 3 years, I have been consistently giving the RBI exam. So
Great. So that's amazing. So you've always been a high performer throughout your academics also. So, like you said, you started preparing for various government jobs, and given your degrees and the great colleges you have studied from. So, I have also studied from Hansraj College, so we have that
oh wow,
thing in
oh,
common. So,
yes.
Anudeep, how come you never thought of taking a private sector job? Because very easily, with the kind of profile you have, you could have got a very good job, high paying job much earlier.
Ma'am, since my very beginning, my education, since the beginning of my education, I have always been inclined towards working in government sector only. And this has been maybe my family and the surroundings have ingrained that into me, that government service is the thing. So I have always been inclined towards joining some government sector. In fact, while doing my PhD, I also attempted civil services exams quite a few times, but I was not able to get through. And but not just UPSC, I've also given RBI
Yeah,
side by side.
right.
So
So, like you have given it three times, so you must be very well versed with the exam pattern and how the things have come.
yes, ma'am.
And in fact, you would have shifted from the exam pattern from 1 year before. It was 100%
Yes, ma'am.
objective, and then to an
Object.
objective plus descriptive style also. So,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
was your approach for phase one and phase two? When the pattern changed, how did you adapt yourself to that aspect?
Ma'am, phase one, I have cleared all 3 times.
Okay.
Uh, so for me,
Mathematics, I
quant.
think so. Quant was a cakewalk for you, I think.
Yes, ma'am. So quant, reasoning, and English, they come quite natural to me. So I have been good at these. But still, I was not overconfident. I did not
Mhm,
overestimate myself. I looked
mhm.
at the previous year questions for phase one. Uh, I solved all the previous year questions without taking time into consideration the first time,
Okay,
so that I
okay.
could get a knowledge ki how they are, what questions they are asking, what topics they are focusing on. So
Mhm.
I made a list. These are the topics they are asking in all three sections: quant,
Exactly.
English, and reasoning.
Okay.
So thereafter, tried, I attempted mock test with the time in consideration.
Right.
So it was these three sections were quite easy for me. And it is not so for everyone,
Mhm.
but I have been attempting reasoning questions since my childhood, so I could
Okay.
do them
Right.
easily.
So what about GA? Because GA has the maximum weightage per se in RBI exam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh, Since I started preparing for UPSC, I've been a avid newspaper reader. So I used to read newspaper regularly and consistently. So that helped me quite in GA. But apart from that, I'm better able to learn things or understand things when they are in question form. So I
Yeah.
attempted mock tests for GA.
Okay.
I looked at various videos also on YouTube in which they give compilations for month by month. So I
Right.
was
Okay, following. So
able
you
to
were very
do GA.
consistent. Yeah, very consistent and regular, I will say, at your preparation. And I think a very good point, Anudeep, that you are mentioning, आपने बताया ना कि one, you first try to understand the exam by looking at the past year papers and what
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
requirement. Despite you being a PhD in mathematics, you didn't take it lightly because every exam has its own uniqueness in terms of the
Yes, ma'am.
questions and the type
Exactly.
of questions that are asked. So you try to first understand it and then time yourself to be able to prepare as per the speed also that is required in the exam.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
great, I think very, very to the point and accurate way of preparing. Anudeep, if we move to phase two, as I said, so economics, ESI, I think from UPSC would have been a little help for you.
Yes, ma'am,
What
it
about
was.
FM? What about finance and management?
Ma'am, it was quite a new subject for me. I have never studied management at all. Finance, some portion I had studied while preparing for UPSC, but
Mhm.
management was completely new for me. So for that, the first thing I did was I downloaded the syllabus from the RBI notification,
Yeah.
and in one tab, always a syllabus was open. So I used to look at every topic separately and then prepare for that topic accordingly. And in that also, previous year questions were a huge help for me.
Mhm.
So because the questions in FM were quite direct. Last year when I gave phase
Yeah,
two,
that's true.
I missed by 1 mark only.
Uh-huh.
And it was because I was not able to complete ESI ka paper because my
Mhm.
typing speed was slow.
Mhm.
So last year, I understood that the questions that they are asking in phase two for management, they are quite direct.
Mhm.
The questions were directly from the
From the
syllabus
syllabus, in
mentioned.
fact, yeah, they just picked up
Yeah.
words directly from syllabus and had asked, right?
Yes, ma'am. So this time I focused more on that the keywords in the syllabus, those
Yeah.
are to be prepared properly for descriptive portion at least.
Great, great. So I was coming to this, in 1 year, I think you would have given an 100% objective phase two.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then in 2021, this pattern was changed. So what was your first reaction? And then how did you mold yourself to this change?
Ma'am, actually, when I gave my last year attempt, it was just 10 days after my wedding. So I
Oh.
was not prepared at all, but I still cleared phase one. But for phase two, just 20 days were there after the result, and then all the wedding festivities and all. So I was not able to prepare properly. I
Mhm.
just revised the last year, the notes I had made last year, and I gave the exam on that basis only. But I could not practice typing that at that time,
Mhm.
so I could not complete the exam.
Okay, okay. And this time, how much time would you have spent on typing practice?
Ma'am, all through the year.
All through
I
the year. Okay, okay.
Once I read the topic, I practiced it on my laptop. I wrote answers in the format I would have liked to write an exam.
Okay, okay. So you kept like
Yes,
whenever. So I think it's a double benefit. You're practicing writing and typing also, and simultaneously you're also conceptually clearing your thoughts and also making your own side by side notes for revision later.
yes, ma'am.
So I think that's a dual benefit, and yes, consistency. Anudeep, I think I am seeing it again and again that how regular you were. And how you focused on what is required for the exam and accordingly spent time on that. So very nice. Let's move to the interview stage, Anudeep. So when you did
Yes.
see your name in the interview list, I'm sure it was very exciting, but also,
Yes, ma'am. It
okay,
was.
this time I have to make it. So what was your strategy for the interview?
Ma'am, whenever the next stage comes, whether it was phase one or phase two, every time it feels like this is the most difficult phase of this. This is the most difficult part of the exam. But interview for me was actually the most difficult because I had never given any interview before that for RBI or something like that. So for that, I attended mock interviews. Uh, In fact, one of my mock interviews was taken by you, and it was very helpful for me. The feedback given, it helped me improve a lot.
Yeah.
So, for my interview preparation, what I did was, for especially my biodata, I worked on it a lot. Whatever I had written in my biodata, word by word, I made questions on the biodata, and then I practiced it with my husband and my parents also. I used to talk to them about all the current affairs. Whenever I used to talk, I talked about all the current happenings in the economy and stuff, so that I am well versed in whatever is happening.
True, true. That's it. And yes, your mock interview was very interesting. And yes, it gives us, a lot of pleasure when students get selected and they come back that the feedback had worked and helped, because ultimately that is
Yes,
our
ma'am.
aim, to help and guide you as much as we can in the right direction. And Sushil
Yes,
Ragbesa, you
ma'am.
have been following from so long already, you mentioned. So yes, so that is there, and we're so happy
Ma'am,
to hear that it was helpful. Yes. So
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to add one thing here. In my feedback of the mock interview, you told me to go through the RBI website properly. And especially, you mentioned some sections which were more important, and those were to be focused on, since my interview was in the very beginning stages. So I focused on that part, and I was asked questions from them in the actual interview. So it was very helpful for me.
yeah, that's great,
Thank you
Anudeep.
so much.
No, thank you so much for following and taking the advice, because I will say it is easy to give the advice. It is very difficult to actually work on it, and it is so glad to hear that this was helpful and it has helped you reach your goal. And so yeah, no words, nothing can describe that kind of
Thank
a
you, ma'am.
feeling. So thanks, Anudeep. And Anudeep, any other points you would like to share with the students
Uh,
or future aspirants that they should keep
yeah,
in mind?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one point is that after the phase one is over, don't waste your time for the result, because I did that.
Mhm.
Those 10 days are very crucial, since the difference between phase one and phase two is just a month. And
Yes,
after result, it's just 20 days. So don't wait for the result. Start your preparation just after the phase one is over, so that those crucial days are not lost.
I think
Because I
very
waited for the
important
result.
point. Yeah.
Ma'am, I waited for the result. I could not get in the flow of studying those initial days. But then I cleared the phase one by 30 marks. More 30 marks were extra. So I was like, if I had been confident enough and started the
Yeah.
preparation just after phase one, those days would not have been lost.
Yeah, a very, very important point. In fact, Anudeep, it's very nice that you brought this point, because many times we end up talking about what we did right, but
Yes, ma'am.
rarely do we talk about what went wrong. And majority of the times, those are the learnings that help us take forward ourselves forward. So I think
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
very, very important point, Nudeep, that you brought forward, that let's not waste time, because what is there to lose? What is there to lose
Yeah.
if we study? What is there to lose if we get selected? Of course, they are, such a precious time we have used for our preparation. In case,
Yes,
god,
ma'am.
god forbid, we don't get selected, we don't make it to the list, anyways you're enriching yourself by having that
Yes,
kind of a
ma'am.
knowledge, which will help you in any other exam, the later exam or the next attempt. So anyways, it's not going waste. And the keeping this in mind, because this is human tendency, happens with us also, that when we are waiting
Yes,
for something, it happens subconsciously, we start to procrastinate. Ki, let's wait for it to come with the result, and then we will work on it. So to avoid this kind of procrastination and wastage of time, and losing focus, because what we also lose is our focus in those 10 days, because then
yes,
picking up
ma'am.
again after 10 days, sometimes we spend 1 or 2 days to come back in the form of
The
studying,
flow.
in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
flow. So this year, that's why we had designed another program, Extreme B, which is a combination of offline and online, where the offline classes we did exactly during those time, those 10
Oh,
days time period, so that the students don't miss out on that flow,
yes,
on
ma'am.
that studying. and because it was face to face, it was more energetic for students to engage themselves, क्योंकि घर पे बैठे कभी कभी बोरियत लगने लगती है, चलो ज्वाइन करें क्लास
Yes,
या
ma'am.
नहीं करें, इट इज योर चॉइस। लेकिन अगर आप फिजिकली प्रेजेंट हो तो फिर तो आप ज्वाइन करोगे ही, आप
जी.
टाइम स्पेंड करोगे ही। सो दैट वाज वन थिंग वी आल्सो अंडरस्टूड कि ये होता है, स्टूडेंट
Yes,
टेंडेंसी
ma'am.
है। सो वी ट्राइड, एटलीस्ट वी आर ट्राइंग टू कवर दैट अप। सो बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट अनुदीप आपने बोला। मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि काफी सारे स्टूडेंट्स रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं हिंदी में भी
जी.
कवर करने के लिए। तो अनुदीप, और कोई पॉइंट ऐसा जैसे आपने ऑलरेडी शुरुआत करी कि क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, तो 10 डेज नहीं वेस्ट करने चाहिए, कुछ और ऐसा आपके प्रेपरेशन से या आपकी जर्नी से आपको लगता है जो हमें नहीं करना चाहिए, ताकि हम फेल ना हो या फिर हम
जी.
मिस ना करें अपना सिलेक्शन?
Uh, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, while preparing for phase two, don't focus just on content or just on increasing your typing speed. Both are equally important, because if you know stuff and you're not able to write it, then if
Yeah.
then you're missing out on directly on the exam. So focus on both the content and the typing speed.
ओके ओके, या दैट्स इम्पोर्टेंट, बिकॉज कभी कभी हम एक ही चीज पे फोकस करते रह जाते हैं।
जी.
अनदर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट अनुदीप, थैंक्स। आई थिंक सो आपने काफी इलैबोरेटली बताया है अनुदीप, बोथ द थिंग्स टू डू एंड द थिंग्स नॉट टू डू। आई एम श्योर दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी वेरी हेल्पफुल, एंड thank you again for taking out time to share this journey of yours with us, and wishing you a very very good and fulfilling career at RBI. And thank you
Thank you
again.
so much, ma'am.
Congratulations once again from the entire team of iExamB and our viewers.
Thank you so much, ma'am.